Well, we've all been impacted by higher prices recently and waiting for a break from inflation. So what does the latest government report suggest about how consumer costs are trending? Brent Wilsey, president of Wilsey Asset Management, is here to break it down for you. Brent?
Thank you, Roy. That is correct. Inflation, well, it's showing progress on being reduced. This comes from a report called the PCE, which is Personal Consumption Expenditures. This comes from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, known as the BEA. And what they're saying is year over year, inflation was only up 2.1%. Now, there is something called core inflation. That shows an increase of 2.5%. What core inflation does, it backs out energy and food. Some people say, well, why are they doing that? Because that's what I spend a lot of money on. The reason why they back that out is very volatile. So they look at both the core and the regular PCE looking pretty good. Now, I also know what you're saying, Brent, that is not true. I go to the grocery store, I go there, I see everything up, inflation's out of control. You have to understand, the PCE covers over 1,000 items. So you may have your personal inflation, which is, just a few things you buy, but the PCE covers over 1,000 items. Now, those items include things like what they call everyday items, such as clothing and food. Also, durable good items, which are in the play as well. Durable good items, they last longer than a year. That'll include things you're buying, like a car, or buying appliances. And the one that people never think about inflation is services. Services in that number as well, and that would include things like healthcare, recreation, financial, that haircut that you get, that's all in the services. Now, this is good news because what it means, the next time the Fed meets, they may reduce short-term interest rates again. Now, the other thing that happened today on Wednesday was the ADP report, private payroll report, came out, and they estimated 100,000 new jobs. Well, only 31,000 were created. So that's another positive for the Fed to reduce interest rates at the next meeting that they have. Now, I want you to understand, those are short-term rates. That would maybe affect a car loan, but it may not affect the mortgage rates. Those are more on a longer-term basis. You might think about a 10-year treasury, and those are on supply-demand. So you may not see your mortgages drop, which reminds me of the first-time home buyers. Well, last year in 2024, only 23% of first-time home buyers accounted for all the homes being sold. And what's even more amazing to me was the average age of those first-time home buyers went up to 38 years old. Historically, that's an average of about 28 years old. So that's really going up. People may not want to buy a house as soon as they used to. Maybe they can't afford it, but things are changing. If you